Hey there, Stampers. Happy Friday. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live, where I'm going to share 2 simple watercoloring techniques using a fun new bundle from the annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada. And every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, I go live with a crafty project. So thank you so much for joining me. If you are a first-time watcher, welcome. And if you're a regular, then thank you for returning. I hope you guys are inspired by today's projects. Okay, so before we get started, we've got a lot to talk about because July 6th brought us a ton of new stuff. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. So first of all, there are some fun new online exclusives. So here, there's a little snapshot of some of the items, but you'll want to click in the description the online exclusives link so that you can check them all out. There's some fabulous new products that I'm super excited about. And one of those is replacement scoring blades for our paper trimmer. So I know several of you have been asking about those for for a while now. So I'm excited to say that those are now available to order. And then I also wanted to point out that there is one item, the Trucking Along bundle, that is on there, that it is currently unavailable. So the stamp set is sold out. However, Stampin' Up! Is manufacturing more. So they are due. That bundle should be available again the week of July 17th. So I just wanted to point that out if that was on your wish list, because I know it was on mine and I didn't get it in time. It sold out really quickly. Just keep an eye out for it. It should be back available soon. Okay. And I wanted to share a little peek at this suite that is in the online exclusives. So it's a suite that's called the One Horse Open Sleigh Suite. It's got a bundle in it, so the horse and sleigh bundle. Cute little images. This little bunny is so cute. Some holiday greetings. I love this image. I'm really looking forward to playing with this. And this is actually the suite that I'm going to use in my upcoming BOGO event. Next Friday at 9:30 a.m. over in the event, I am going to do a free Christmas in July class, and this is the suite that I'm going to be working with. And then there are these metallic snowflakes. They're called adhesive back snowflake assortment. So there's some gold, some copper, and some white in there. And then this is the highlight. This paper is seriously gorgeous. Excuse me. So it's called the One Horse Open Sleigh DSP. It's a 6x6 pattern paper, but one side are these beautiful wintry kind of Christmassy scenes, but then the back side is just kind of small, kind of neutral patterns that you can use anytime. Like, look at that. Seriously, you could just slap that on a card with a greeting and that's all you need to do. You don't need to do much with this DSP at all. And I love that the backs are just kind of neutral. So even if you don't want to use it all for holiday projects, you can use it all year round. And you can't go wrong with wood grains, right? That one. Here's another wood grain. That. Look how pretty this is. Like some of these, and this one, I love this one. Oh, some of these, like you could just seriously put that in a frame and just hang it just like that. It is just so pretty. So that is the One Horse Open Sleigh suite of products. So you'll see more of that if you join us over in the BOGO event, which reminds me that I should talk a little bit about that. So usually, well, for the most part, every year, I do a Stampin' Up! BOGO event. So because I'm a business demonstrator, I don't keep a lot of retired product, and I do need to clear out that retired product in order to make room for some new product. So next weekend, so it starts on Friday, we kick it off with a Facebook Live, a Christmas in July class that I just mentioned. And then at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, all of the products that I have for sale will go live. And basically what you'll see is there'll be 4 different categories. There'll be bundles, there'll be stamps, there'll be tools, and there will be miscellaneous. The bundles, tools, and stamps are all BOGO. So basically I have pictures of the product with the prices on them, and you comment on that picture, and then there's a host code that's tied to the event. Once you're done commenting, I will send you an email or a Facebook message, let you know your total. You go online and you shop for that amount, and I send you that retired product. You get it for free. All you have to do is pay for shipping, or if you're local to me in the Edmonton or Sherwood Park area, you can pick it up. So it's a fabulous deal. It's like 2 for 1. You purchase new product and you get the retired product for free. Plus, because it's bonus days in July, you'll also qualify for $6 coupons for every $60 that you spend before shipping and GST. So not only will you get free product, but you'll get coupons that you can then in turn use on an order in August. All right. Okay, so lots of stuff going on. Let me just check my notes here. There was so much going on, I needed to write down a list so I wouldn't forget anything. Last thing I wanted to mention is today is the last day of a Paper Pumpkin sale. So if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you can earn up to 50% off on past Paper Pumpkin kits, refills, or add-ons. But it was only yesterday and today, so it ends at the end of the day today. So you can head on over there and check out what's available there. I mean, anything at 50% off is a great deal. Oh, and then one thing I forgot to write down, there has been a clearance rack update as well. So lots of fabulous deals over on the clearance rack. And yesterday when I looked, there's items as low as $1 on there. So crazy good deals. So head on over there and see if there's anything that you want from that as well. Okay, now that I've talked your ear off, this was the project that I created last week. And it was a fun fold. I shared it 3 different ways. So I shared it as a card, I shared it as a pocket, and I shared it as a mini album. If you missed last week's video, you can always catch it over on my YouTube channel or here on Facebook. Here's a little look at the card. It looks so complicated, but it is so easy to do. So you can always catch the replay for that. And then, hang on, we go like this. I always do a draw based on the comments, or if you share my video, I do a draw for the project as long as it's something mailable. And this is mailable. So thank you to everyone who shared or commented my video last week. I appreciate all of you. And Gail Bueller is the lucky winner for this. So Gail, I will pop this in the mail for you. Thank you so much for commenting and participating in the conversation. I appreciate it. Always makes me feel like I'm not sitting here talking to myself in an empty room. But I appreciate even if you're watching the replay, because I know that not everybody can watch live. All right, so today we are going to play with the So Refreshing bundle. This is a fun bundle from the 2023-24 annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. It's got some great images in here and some fun greetings that you can use for thank you cards, birthday cards, and then just, you know, friendship cards. So we're going to create 2 cards, and I'm going to share 2 watercoloring techniques as we go. All right, that is also the bundle that Laura and I are using for this month's Class to Go, which I'll share more information on in a little bit. Okay, so first of all, for these watercoloring techniques, I suggest that you use watercolor paper. So this is our watercolor paper. It's Fluid 100 watercolor paper. The sizing I think is 5 by 7 inches. So we're going to use 1 full sheet, and you know me, I don't like there to be lots of waste. So I strategically cut this. So I'm using 1 full sheet on 2 cards with no waste. And then you'll also need water painters. And for both of these techniques, I am using the widest water painter. So this one that's got a wide brush, okay? Our water painters come in a package of 3 with 3 different thicknesses for brushes. This is the one that I'm using for this. And if you don't have water painters, you can also use a wet paintbrush. So that will work just fine. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this down. Let me grab my paper trimmer. Okay, so this measures 5 by 7. We're gonna cut it with the 7-inch inches at the top. We're going to cut it at 3 3/4. We're going to save this for the second card. We're going to use this one for the first card. While we have this out, I'm going to use a piece of the Inked Botanicals DSP. So this is also another 6x6 DSP. Here's a little peek at that patterned paper. This is the pattern paper that Laura and I had chosen to combine with this bundle to work with. So when you purchase the class, which is $40, I can ship anywhere in Canada for an extra $5. You'll get half a package of this DSP. You'll get a package of the soft pastel gems, and you'll get 2 yards of the herringbone ribbon, which is so fun to work with, as well as the 6 card kits. And if you register for the class for option 1 or 2, I'll talk a little bit about option 2 in a minute. If you register for the class before the end of the day tomorrow, which is Saturday the 8th, then I will throw in a bonus card kit for you. So you'll get 7 card ideas with this bundle. Option number 2 is the I Want It All option. So if you spend $96 using the class host code, then you will get the card kits and the ribbon for free, the 2 yards of ribbon, absolutely free. And that option is great if you either have a long wish list or if you don't yet own this bundle. So when you purchase this bundle, a package of the DSP and a package of the soft pastel gems, it comes out to just over $96. So, but I know some of you might have some of these products, so it doesn't really matter what you purchase, as long as you purchase at least $96 using that host code, then I know that you want the class kits and I will send them to you absolutely free as a thank you. All right, so now we're going to take this DSP and we're going to cut it at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. So it's going to be card front size. It's going to cover our card. We're going to save this piece and this piece. Those are the 2 pieces we're going to use. This piece you can put in your scraps, or if you wanted to turn the card into a gift card holder or create a little pocket, you could add this to the inside. All right, so let's slide this aside. Okay, we're gonna start with our technique. So I have my water painter here. I have a little dish with some water, and I have a paper towel. My color combination, or the color combination that we're gonna use today, is one of my current favorites. I feel like this color combination is just so fresh. It's the perfect summertime color combination. So we're using Lemon Lolly, Pretty Peacock, and Lost Lagoon. So I'm gonna open these up and I'm gonna use, okay, first of all, let me share, actually I'm gonna do it. Let's do it with this one. If you squeeze your ink pads, squeeze it really tight, you can transfer ink to the surface. And that's where we're gonna pull our color from. And then here's my Pretty Peacock, so I'll set that aside. Now I'm gonna add a little drop. This is another thing you can do if you have ink refills for your ink pads, which I highly suggest when you order a new ink pad to order the ink refill at the same time. I'm just gonna put a little drop of Lemon Lolly in there. Okay, so I'm gonna ink up my water painter. Now these do unscrew and you put water in there. There is water in there. However, I find that mine don't squeeze. Like, I don't like the way the water comes out. It doesn't consistently come out nicely. So I like to have like a nice evenly wet brush. So that's why I like to use water. I'm gonna start with the Lemon Lolly, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of water here and pull in that color. And then I'm just gonna do a stripe across. Then I'm gonna tap off, I'm gonna clean it off. And then I'm gonna do the same thing in Lost Lagoon. So this is a great way to create a simple background. And I like it to be quite wet because that helps prevent getting those brush marks. And it does work best if you use watercolor paper. I tried it on our thick, because I thought it might work on our thick basic white, but it started to pill as soon as I tried it. So watercolor paper, or if you have our old retired shimmery white, that would probably work as well. Okay, now I'm gonna do Pretty Peacock. Let me bring this in camera here. Do another strip down here. So quick and easy. Simple, nice simple background. Now when I put this back in the cap, I do like to pinch these together so that I don't catch any of the bristles and fold them back. So we're gonna set that aside. We'll need that for our second card. And we're gonna set that aside to dry. Now I'm gonna bring in a scrap piece of white and we're gonna do some stamping. I'm just gonna grab a scrap piece of paper as well. Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. All right, so I'm gonna use early espresso and I'm gonna take this little jug. I'm gonna stamp it, or ink it, I'm gonna stamp it off, and then I'm gonna stamp it on my white. And I think I forgot to pull out some of the stamps. Yes, I did. I'm missing lots of them. Okay, let's pull in our stamp set and some blocks. All right, so I need the cup as well. So I'm gonna ink that up, stamp it off. I want 2 cups. So I'm just stamping it off because I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. And then I'm gonna grab my cleaner. I have a class this afternoon and tonight, so a lot of my stamps are on my blocks, so my block choice is limited here. So we'll just reuse them. Okay, and what else do I need here? Okay, that's all I need for the early espresso. So we're gonna close that up, set it aside. Now I'm gonna grab the inside. So this is the inside, so we can add some liquid. Let's put this away. And this one away. Okay, we're gonna keep our lemon lolly out. We'll ink this up and stamp it right in here. This is a 2-step stamp. It's really easy because it's photopolymer. We're gonna stamp that right on there, and then we're gonna we'll clean this. And we'll grab the inside for our glasses so that we have some lemonade in our cups. I love this stamp set. It's just so different from anything that I've ever owned. It was really fun to come up with card designs for this month's class to go. Okay, so we've got that. Now I need to I'm gonna grab these little lemons and I'm gonna bring in a darker yellow. So I'm gonna bring in some Daffodil Delight. Stamp that down. We'll clean that and switch that out. We'll grab the inside and we'll stamp that. Look how cute those lemons are. Okay, and then I think I have the other lemon on a block. I do. So then there's a lemon slice. And we're just gonna stamp a few lemons in our lemonade. And I think that is it for these colors. So we'll set these aside. Okay, and we need to do some die cutting. So I'm gonna bring in my little mini machine. Set this over here. And I've got my platform here. And now I've got 2 cups already cut out, so I don't need to cut those out, but I am going to cut out my jug, and I'm going to use some washi tape to hold it in place. Just because I went to all that effort to stamp it, I want to make sure it doesn't move. So we'll just add a little bit of washi tape, and then we can also do the lemons. So I'll slide these on here, this on here. Okay. Feed that through. And then while we've got it out, we're also going to take some old olive cardstock, and we're going to cut out, oh, that's not the right one, this little trio of leaves. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Okay, the other thing that I did do is I took this leaf image and I cut it from some Lost Lagoon and some Pool Party. And then I've got my 2 cups. And then we've got our jug of lemonade. Oh, speaking of lemonade, we had company over last Saturday and I made the best, well, actually I didn't make it. I found the recipe and I had my son-in-law make it while I was doing something else. But, oh, it was so good. It was 2 liters of ginger ale. And then it had a can of frozen limeade, so concentrate. A can of that, a can of strawberry Bacardi mix, and some rum in it, and then with sliced lemons and sliced strawberries. It was delicious. So good. Highly recommend it. If anybody wants the recipe, I can share it with you for sure. I found it on Pinterest. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to stamp a greeting before I start assembling. And I want it to be nice and crisp and black. And this watercolor paper, it has a fair bit of texture. So there's a couple things that you can do. If you have a stamp positioning tool like our old Stamparatus, you can put this in there and then you can stamp multiple times. Because I find that when you use Memento ink, sometimes it doesn't give you a nice crisp black. You need to stamp it multiple times. And because it's got that texture to it, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But I noticed that our new Stampin' Write markers, whatever they did to the ink, they must have changed it a little bit because it sticks to photopolymer stamps a lot better than it used to. I never used to like using our Stampin' Write markers on our photopolymer stamps because I found that the ink just did not, it almost like it didn't stick or adhere to the photopolymer. It would just kind of pool up and it wouldn't give you a nice consistent inking. Whereas now, so this is our new configuration. This is a new basic black Stampin' Write marker. And it sticks beautifully. So I'm gonna just huff on it to re-moisten it. Let's do that again. And I'm gonna stamp it on this yellow brush mark that we did. You want to make sure that it's fully dry before you do this because otherwise it will just bleed and make a little bit of a mess. The other thing I like to do when I stamp on this paper is I like to just let that stamp sit there for a minute, not for a minute, for a few seconds, just to make sure that that ink transfers and you get this beautifully crisp black image. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and start. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the card base. We're going to work our way from the bottom up. So I've got a thick white card base. It's just a standard size card base. I'll use my bone folder to make it nice and crisp. And then I've got my layer of DSP, and I'm gonna use some multi-purpose glue. So I have this container that my friend Kathy gifted me. Oh, it was probably a year ago, maybe even longer. And I've had it sitting on my desk and I have not used it. And so just a couple weeks ago, I filled it with multi-purpose glue, and I don't know what I was waiting for. Like, I absolutely love it. It holds probably about 2 things of multi-purpose glue, maybe 1.5, because one of mine was partially empty. But it's got this fine nozzle. It doesn't clog. It's great. I love it. Okay, so we covered that entire card front with our DSP. And now I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of my watercolor paper. And we're going to stick that in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to use some dimensionals for our jug. And this is going to go on here like that. And I've got a little smudge on here. And then our cup. You know what? My friend Kathy gave it to me, Shauna. I can see, I think she said she got it on Amazon. I will see if she still has the link and if she can share it with me, and then I'll post it. Okay, and then on here, we're gonna pop this one up. I'm going to cut this dimensional in half. That's gonna sit on there like that. And then we're gonna add our lemons. Again, I'm just gonna use a partial dimensional. And I'm gonna put it on the one side and then add a little bit of multi-purpose glue to the other. That's gonna get popped on there. And then I'm gonna use one of these leaves. The other 2, I'm just gonna set aside. Just gonna kind of curl it up just a little bit. Just put a little dot of multi-purpose glue right here. And then tuck that underneath. Look how cute this looks already. And then the leaves are gonna go up here. So I added the stripes so that I could have like a place to kind of do 3 different little clusters. I know, isn't it summery? I love this color combination. I think it's the perfect summer color combination. So if you missed out, it was Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, and Pretty Peacock. There's not really a whole lot of Pretty Peacock on this particular card. This is Pretty Peacock here. And then of course, you gotta add some baker's twine, right? So just gonna tie a bow. And we'll add a little dot of multi-purpose glue. That's gonna go right on there, like that. And then I'm going to pull in some of our soft pastel or pastel gems, iridescent pastel gems. Pull in some of these, and for the sample, I used the Pool Party ones, but for this one, because I've only got one Pool Party one left, we're just gonna use the clear. Add those, and then this little strip that we had left, we're just gonna add that to the inside. And of course you can stamp some lemons inside if you want, but there you go. And then here's the original. So the only difference really is just the pool party gems. Doesn't it scream summer? So fun. I love it. All right. So that was card number 1, and that was the first technique. So just using the wide brush to create stripes. And you can see that I left space in between. If you didn't want to leave space, if you wanted to add like just a block of color on the inside or in the center of your image, you could do Lemon Lolly, Daffodil Delight, Pool Party, Lost Lagoon, and then Pretty Peacock. So you could do multiple, like 5 different colors instead of just the 3 without the space in between. And I think that would look really nice too. But I really wanted the space because I wanted to distinguish between the 3 different areas. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Actually, before we move on, I'm going to share a little peek at 3 of the 6 cards that we'll be creating in the So Refreshing class to go. So here's one of them. Here's another one. This one's a bit of a fun fold. And then here is the 3rd one. So those are 3 of the 6 cards that we're making in the So Refreshing class to go. And just a reminder that there is an early bird special. So if you sign up for option 1 or 2 before the end of the day tomorrow, that you'll get a 7th project. So you'll get a bonus card. Okay, I'm just going to cover that so it doesn't dry out. We're going to bring in the supplies for our next one. Okay. We're using all of the stamps. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, so for this one, I did want to add in a different greeting. So the greetings in this, they're great, but the sizing wasn't quite right for the card that I'm going to make. So the greetings in here, we've got time spent together is the sweetest. Thank you kindly and happiest of birthdays. But I wanted something a little bit smaller. So I pulled out my charming sentiments and I'm going to use just for you. And then this, of course, has some dies. So if you love the look of your words and then fussy cut, but don't like to fussy cut, this is one of the 2 or 3 bundles that we have in the annual catalog that has dies that will do that for you. So I don't mind fussy cutting, but I do have the dies for those. So we're going to use just for you, and then we're going to use the coordinating die to cut it out. And then I also used this strip, right, or this scallop border strip, which I use often. I love the scallop border strip. Actually, when this set retires, because it will retire at some point, I will probably just keep this die and get rid of the rest because I love it so much. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for now, and let's pull in the bits and pieces here. Okay. All right, so we've got, where did our leftover, oh, here it is. We want to start with this. Okay, so we're going to do this so that it dries quickly, or first, before we do anything. We finish the card off. Okay, so I'm going to take this same water painter. I'm going to make sure that there's no color on it. And make sure I'm in camera here. Okay, I'm going to wet my paintbrush. And I'm going to add water. So I'm wetting the watercolor paper. Oh, and I should have opened my ink pads first. I don't need this one. The water's going to be dry by the time I'm ready to. Okay, so I'm using the same color combination. I'm going to start with some Lemon Lolly. And so we're creating a watercolor wash. This is one of my favorite watercolor techniques. I just love the look of a watercolor wash. Then we want to clean off our brush before we move into the next color. We want to wet it. So you want to make sure that your paper is wet, and you want to make sure that your color is watered down, because it's much easier to add layers than it is to take them off. And plus, the wetter it is, then the less likely you are to have brush marks. And then we'll bring in our Pretty Peacock. Okay, so you can see that the water is like pooling on there. That's good. You want that. Okay. So that's quite wet. We're going to set that aside to dry while we work on the rest. So again, I'm just going to pinch this and put the cap on. And we are going to need Pretty Peacock, so we'll leave that out. We don't need Lost Lagoon, so we'll put that one away. Okay. Set this aside so I don't spill it and make a big mess. And we can set that aside. You should see my desk. Oh my gosh, what a mess. All right, we'll set that over there. Okay, and I'm gonna bring in a couple scraps. And we're gonna do the flower this time. So I'm gonna stamp the stem or the branch in some Pretty Peacock onto a piece of white. And then I'm going to use some Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to stamp the outline image of the flowers. And the flowers kind of nestle in between the branches. Takes a bit to get it just right. So we've got that, and we're done with this one. And then I'm going to do the inside with the Lemon Lolly. Oh my, what is that? Where's my scrap paper? There must have been something on. Okay, let's clean this. Must have been something on my stamp. Okay, we'll ink that up. And then again, photopolymer makes this really easy to just stamp right in there. Okay, and then the last thing that we're gonna stamp is we're gonna use some Memento, and we're gonna use the Just For You. And we're gonna stamp it on another scrap of white. And then we're gonna bring in our die cutting machine and do some die cutting. Okay, so we've got a die that will cut out our flower. And we'll tape that in place. We're going to do it in 2 passes through here. Okay, and then we're going to grab the die that will cut out the Just For You. I think the trickiest part of this whole set is trying to figure out which die goes with which words. But this is one of the smallest ones, so this one actually isn't too difficult to figure out. All right. Okay, so we'll pop this back on here and put that away so we don't lose it. And then this guy will go back on this one. And pop that away. Okay. The other things that I've die cut is I went ahead and I die cut the other jug that is in there. And then I did that Scallop Contours border die. And you want to keep both pieces for this because I'm going to use the piece that's left over as well. Okay, so we've got Pretty Peacock card base, just a standard size card. We're going to work on the inside first. So this we're going to use on the outside. This piece, I didn't want to throw it away because this is kind of a cool border. So I decided to take a scrap piece of the paper from the first card. So remember I had that strip left over. I just cut 3/4 inch by 4 inch piece of that DSP. I'm going to add it to this. And then add this to my card, the inside layer of my card. And again, that's just a fun way. Normally you would just throw that piece away. You wouldn't keep that piece, right? But look how fun that is on the inside. It ties in that yellow, brings in the yellow. All right, look it, so cute, love it. All right, let's see here. This is not quite dry, but it's okay because we're not gonna stamp on it anyways. I'm just gonna add a little bit of adhesive right down this side, and then we're gonna add this on here. Like that. And I'm kind of being mindful so that I have an even scallop on both ends. And then I'll trim off the excess. And then this is going to get adhered to our card base. Look at those colors. Oh, so pretty. Okay, I'm just gonna flip that over. All right. Then we're gonna take our flowers, and you know, my die cutting did not work very well, so I'm just gonna trim this a little bit so there's not so much white space there. There we go. So this gives you a little slit. So I'm going to slide this in behind like that. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to use some dimensionals. And we'll add one up here. That's going to go on here. Like that, so pretty. Okay, and then I took some of this herringbone ribbon. First of all, this herringbone ribbon, you can actually stamp on it. Let me show you. I've got a scrap here. Okay, we're gonna add some lemons. Let me grab, we'll do daffodil. So there's lots that you can do with this ribbon. I wanted to show, we're not actually gonna use the stamped one for this card. But look at that. Look how cute that is. Now we've got a lemon themed ribbon. So fun. So fun. Anyways, so what I did for this is I took about a 10-inch strip of this ribbon and I actually cut it into 3 pieces. So I cut it here and then again here. And then for one of the pieces, I just kind of pulled the fibers. I'm pulling the fibers out. So you can see that I've used this quite a bit. There's hardly anything left. This was probably the middle piece. So it didn't have the seam on either side. to kind of hold the fibers together. Sue, you're funny. So then I'm just going to pinch it together and I've got this bow. So this is for, you guys know that I love my baker's twine linen thread. You know, I love just that extra little touch of fiber. So this just fills that need for me. So I'm gonna add a little dot of glue right there and add that bow. I'll probably trim the ends just a little bit. And I like to use multi-purpose glue when I do this technique because all these little fibers, I find that if you use a mini glue dot, if they get stuck at the wrong place and you're trying to adjust it, it just pulls. You'll end up getting shorter loops than other loops. It's just easier to use multi-purpose glue. You have a little bit more flexibility. And then I'm going to use just a piece of a dimensional here on this side and a little bit of glue. Here, and we'll cover this over because we're done with this. And then this is going to sit right here. Okay, and then I wanted to add a little something. And I had these out, the coral ones, if I had stamped my flowers in coral, then I think the coral ones would have worked. And I've only got one big pool party one left. So then I thought, you know what, let's use a pretty peacock Stampin' Write marker and just add a little trio of dots. I love doing this. It adds so much with very little effort. And that just gives that little extra something. So there is your second watercolor technique. And remember, oh, let's trim the ends here. Let me grab my ribbon scissors. So here's the first one, my sample card that I did. The colors are just so stunning. Love them. And then here is, let me slide all my stuff off to the side here. So there's the first card, or there's the second card, and there's the first card. So we've got two great watercoloring techniques. A fun color combination, a cute summer themed set that will carry you through your summer crafting. So just a reminder, I will have a full supply list in the description below. You have until tomorrow to register for the So Refreshing class if you'd like the early bird special. And then the final deadline is the 12th of the month. So I think that's next Wednesday. So you'll want to sign up for that before then. And remember to check out the online exclusives. And if there's anything that I can help you with, or if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Either comment below or send me a message. I'm happy to help. All right. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you next week with our Christmas in July class.